On behalf of members and chapter coordination committee of the Western India Regional Council, the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, I welcome our today's speaker, Dr. CMA Savedi Radhe, Madam. Our today's topic is Women in Leadership, Overcoming Gender Bias and Stereotypes. Dr. Savedi Rane, Madam, is currently working as a head admission and industry research in Nath School of Business and Technology, Aurangabad. She is a fellow company secretary and fellow cost accountant. She was a gold medalist at BCom from Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Aurangabad. She has completed double post graduation in management accounting and financial strategies and business practices and corporate governance. She completed her PhD Commerce on the effect of the corporate governance practices of Mahatrana companies on their financial performance. She has 7 years of academic experience and 6 years of industry experience. She has qualified UGC NET in Commerce. She is certified independent director, certified CSI professional, certified forensic accountant, and certified financial fraud examiner. She is currently associated with two BSc listed companies as an independent director. Her areas of interest are corporate governance, CSR, ESG, and technology. She has published 16 research papers and has attended 14 conferences. Now I request Madam to kindly start the session. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Pujanga, for the wonderful introduction.
Thank you,
I'll
ma'am.
share my screen.
Yes.
I hope my screen is visible to
Yes,
everybody.
it's visible, ma'am.
Okay. So, the topic that I'm talking about today, that is women in leadership and breaking the stereotypes, is a very important aspect that we need to discuss because we see women in leadership. We know that women are taking leadership roles. We appreciate them taking leadership roles. But I think we are still not in a position to really say that we have gotten to a point where women can do things very easily and women have the same freedom as men do to do a lot of things. And for a lot of roles, women are not considered because it is thought that it is a role that suits the male gender. And I have put down a very powerful quotation. We always say that behind every successful man, there is a woman, but behind every successful woman is herself. When a woman takes control, when a woman takes charge, when a woman is determined, when a woman decides that she wants to do something, I think there is no power in this world that can stop her from doing it. And our scriptures, our rich history has given us so many examples, be it the goddesses that we worship, be it the different warriors that we see, be it Rani Lakshmi Bai or anybody for that matter. We have a lot of examples to tell us that this sentence has a lot of substance. And we have examples who tell us that everything is achievable, nothing is impossible. So women need to be confident, women need to be determined and dedicated to know what their goals are and what they want to achieve, and put every single effort that they want to achieve it. So the problem that we see today is gender stereotyping, and we see that even though women are more qualified in most places, men are given those roles. So traditionally, if you see roles like marketing, be it a basic marketing manager role or a role of a sales representative, in most places you will see that men are preferred, women are not preferred. And it's such a simple thing, but men are preferred because we feel that marketing involves a lot of travel, it involves going from one place to the other, it involves interacting with number of people, and it should be a man doing it, not a woman doing it. uh, Even the example of working in a call center, many women hesitate, or many employers hesitate to employ women uh, because the timings may not be suitable. The safety factor is definitely to be considered, but we have to consider the qualifications and the competence. So if women are competent, if women are qualified, they should definitely be given the role, because the priority for us is always going to be the organization or the effectiveness of the individual for the organizational goals. So if there is a woman who can bring that to the table, then why not consider her for that role? And if we really think about it, so having a woman as a leader or having a woman as an employee really adds value to the organization. So one aspect that comes to the organization naturally is the diversity factor. So you have a nice balance of men and women in the team, which creates a lot more of the team bonding. It creates a better environment for people. It creates a better team understanding of bonding, which helps in overall efficiency. At the same time, there is empathy, which is a bit more in the team, and the creative aspect also comes together. So these days, we are seeing that women are taking leadership roles, not just globally, but also even in our country, in the PSUs, in the private sector also. We see a lot of examples of women taking up roles that were generally kept for men. So if we take the example of a country like United States, which has been of having freedom and independent since the last 300 odd years, uh, they have not had a woman president. And that is because of the stereotyping that has been done, that men are better leaders, or men should lead the country, and women may not be suitable, may not be rational enough while taking decisions, or women may be overly sensitive when they are taking certain decisions, and may not be able to take harsh decisions. So this impacts the overall ability of the organization or even a country to function. So the gender aspect should not be a criteria for determining whether a person is suitable or not. And one of the latest examples that we can see for this is the example of Donald Trump being elected as the president of United States. Um, Even though he had a much better, much formidable candidate opposing him, which was Hillary Clinton, and she lost mostly because she was a woman, not because she did not have better ideas than him. So, a better qualified candidate losing because of a gender stereotype has happened multiple times before that and multiple times after that, and probably happens on a day-to-day basis with uh, all of us in our vicinity. And we should be mindful of the fact that every single time we look at a person, we should see beyond the gender. We should see the caliber and the competence and the qualification rather than just the gender. So, what are the essential stereotypes that women face in leadership positions? So, the first one is that there is a generalization that men are more competent as leaders. Uh, Again, it may be because people feel that men are more dominant, or they are faster in terms of decision makings or making, or they are in a better position to control a team. And women may not be uh, well equipped to take decisions because they may have more empathy, or they may be sympathetic to others and may take some emotional decisions. But then again, this is a bias that we have for women, and this is a bias that we should probably get rid of, because this is something that cannot happen with every single individual. There are women dictators also. There are women who can take ruthless decisions. There are women who are qualified because of their education or their experiences to take these decisions. So the generalization that men are better leaders is not applicable anymore, and cannot be made applicable in organizations of any kind, or even in uh, politics for that matter. The second stereotype that we face is that women are more nurturing or communal, and men are more assertive or independent, or maybe even dominating to a certain extent. So, because of this, it is considered that women may not be in a position to handle their people well, or handle their teams well, or um, dictate or get things done properly. So this generalization hurts women, because every single individual is unique, and every single individual has a different style of doing things, and talking to people, or getting things done, or working in teams. And we have to be considerate enough to think that women are also different, and women may have different styles, and if they are competent, then their styles, their way of working should be tried and tested as a leader, if they possess the necessary skills. So all these stereotypes that we see essentially limit the growth that a woman can have in a career, be it practice, or be it in the industry, or be it anywhere in the world. The role of women, uh, even though it can be expanded exponentially, it doesn't expand, because everybody has this lens that they see women through, and they always compare a woman who is working with a man. And this constant comparison, and the constant lens of bias and stereotyping, belittles them and makes it difficult for them to work, and for them to continue with the same level of enthusiasm or zeal uh, in the long run. So, for the children of today's world, it's a very nice world for them to see that women are breaking the stereotype. Women are in a position to get out of the mold and say that we are doing something that people have not done before. And they are inspiring these young girls, and telling the boys that women can do anything, and women are in a position to do anything and everything. So we have the example of Kamala Harris, who's the vice president of the United States currently, Angela Merkel, who was the chancellor of Germany, and Jacinda Ardern, who was the prime minister of New Zealand. So all these women, along with even Miss Melanie, who is the Prime Minister of Italy. So all these women in powerful positions all over the world, taking charge of international relations, taking care of uh, the affairs of their country on a day-to-day basis, means a lot to these young minds who are seeing this and absorbing this, and they are growing up in a world where probably they may not think about these stereotypes the way we think, or the way the previous generation has thought. And this aspect of the stereotyping thing, we have noticed it in our profession also. We have seen it where parents are reluctant to send their daughters for articleship, or when it comes to the timings for articleship, or when it comes to the timings for uh, working in industry. There is a lot of reluctance even from the parents. There is a lot of reluctance from uh, people to hire girls as articles also, because it may involve traveling, it may involve traveling during evening hours. And although some of these things do not come out of stereotypes, they come out of a simple, pure concern, it is still in a way limiting the abilities of women, limiting the abilities of girls to explore the world, to experience what is happening, to really learn from the industry, learn from uh, everybody else's experience, and get the kind of exposure that they deserve. So every single one of us needs to think twice. So whether we do it out of concern or whether we do it out of bias, we need to think twice. We have to be able to say that we are making the right decision. I am not here to say that every woman is suitable or every woman should be put in a leadership role. What I am trying to say is, if somebody is qualified, uh, and if somebody is competent, then that person has to be considered irrespective of gender. And we live in a world where there are tremendous opportunities in every single sector. The world is in our hands, it is in our palms, and the world is accessible to each and every one of us. So, in that situation, differentiating between people on the basis of gender and deciding that such and such role has to be done by a man or a woman is wrong. So, gender stereotyping for both is something that we need to get out of, and we have to break these shackles that we have put ourselves in, because these shackles are limiting our vision, limiting our approach, limiting our efficiency, and limiting us in every way, and stopping us from determining what we can do and what we cannot do. So, what do we do? How can we overcome this stereotyping? How do we promote women leadership, specifically in organizations? So, anybody who wants to take up leadership roles should be supported and encouraged. Demotivating or demoralizing somebody because they are a woman and they want to take up leadership roles by saying, this is not your cup of tea, you will not have the time to do this, or this is suitable for a man, uh, is not an appropriate thing to do. At the same time, the kind of opportunities that women get to work on their leadership skills are quite limited. Uh, our Indian Companies Act of 2013 was on point when they introduced the concept of women directors, to say that we should have a place on the board. But why did we have to wait for legislation to come in place and say that women have to be on the board and are supposed to have a certain number of seats on the board? That is a point that I cannot comprehend till now. So uh, we need to take initiative, and we need to involve women, and women need to be groomed. So it is not just the men who need to be groomed, but also the women need to be groomed for these kind of opportunities. So mentoring of women. So I think there are a couple of organizations which are coming up in India where they are mentoring women for leadership positions in companies. So these kind of organizations should be promoted, and their work should be appreciated and lauded for, because they are doing a tremendous job. And we individually can also take up mentoring of some women or some girls who want uh, to have a big career, or who want to have a nice career, and who are capable of doing certain things, who have potential, so that they are not lost uh, in their career, and they get to do what they want to do. At the same time, the kind of networking opportunities that are available are also limited to women. So most places, networking opportunities are negligible for women. So if you notice, there are a lot of associations. Even our institute takes separate efforts, special efforts for ensuring that we get an opportunity to network. But there are similar organizations where networking opportunities for women are quite limited. So platform for networking should also be present, and wherever we can, we should provide such a platform. And then finally, the workplace culture that we have, or the values that we cherish. Those values should always involve diversity and inclusivity. So, promoting these kind of values will always ensure that women have a place in every single system, women have a place in the organization, and people feel valued. It's not just the women being valued, it is people being valued for the kind of talent, for the qualities that they possess. And we have to see through the gender, so we value the right kind of people, because for organizational efficiency and organizational productivity, the quality of the people and the intent of the people is what matters. So diversity and inclusivity will ensure that we value people for people. Many of these things can become initiatives that are started by companies or by individuals, and can remain something which is a tick box effort. But going into the depths of these efforts is something that requires dedicated attention. It requires a dedicated effort, and it requires a proper plan as to how this will be done. So when you talk about supporting and encouraging women in leadership roles, what exactly can we do to encourage them? What exactly can we do to support them? So we need to start by not demotivating them, but what additional things we can do to motivate them, or to say that leadership roles are possible, is something that each of us needs to reflect. The mentoring and networking opportunities, again, something that needs to be thought about properly in depth, because all these things are long term activities that need to be done by individuals and organizations to really let them take effect. And talking about diversity and inclusivity, so it has to start from our homes, it has to go to the schools, it has to go to the colleges, it has to come to the organizations. So every single step of the way, this value of diversity and inclusivity will help us to really look at a human being as a human being, and not as a man or a woman or a boy or a girl. So, statements where we say that boys are not meant to do this or girls are not meant to do this, just limit our imagination and limit ourselves, and make us stay within a box, which in the long term hurts our aspirations and destroys our potential. So, that is the aspect that we need to start working on a day-to-day basis. So unless and until we get rid of our inhibitions, this is not going to happen. Now, talking about women specifically, so the biggest stereotype that we need to break ourselves is getting out of our own mentalities that I cannot do this, and creating an I can and I will and I should mindset. So if we do not believe that we can do something, nobody else is going to believe. So unless you stand up for yourselves, unless you start believing in yourselves, nobody else is going to believe in you, nobody else is going to support you, nobody else is going to take a stand for you. So putting in that effort, putting in that time, putting in the energy to do something that you really want to do is something that is required. So the strong initiative that women can take and will take will really help them to overcome these biases and overcome these stereotypes. See, when you work in an organization, there are bound to be times when uh, some Somebody will say that you are not as qualified as some other man is. There are bound to be times where a man is given a promotion over you, even though you are a better performer. So, all these things are likely to happen in an organization. But you have to stand up for yourself and you have to prove your worth to the organization that you are capable of doing something, and you will be appreciated eventually. So putting in that effort without losing any confidence is something that matters and that needs to be continued. So it is a difficult journey, but it is a journey that we should be on and we need to be on, not just for us, but for everybody. So this is not an individual effort. This has to be a societal effort, because what we are talking about doesn't impact one life. It impacts half the people in this world. And it is a very important issue that we need to discuss today, because if we continue to ignore this issue, and we always ignore this by saying that in India we don't have this problem, but we do have this problem. How many women do we really see in leadership? If we talk about the percentages, it's negligible. If you see the number of women on the boards of listed companies, it's negligible. If you see the women CEOs, MDs, CFOs, uh, again, it's negligible. All this is in a single digit percentage. And this says something. Are we saying that women are not competent? I think we would be wrong to say that or judge that. It's just that we are not in a position to support women in leadership. And we have to think about this and we have to carry this in the long run, that we have to support women for leadership roles. We have to promote them, we have to groom them, and we have to make it a part of our culture, and we have to make it a part of our values. And it has to be something that we will never have to talk about. So, because we have worked on it enough in the current time. With this, I will open the session for questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Pujanka. And does anyone have any questions?
I think no, ma'am. We just wait for 5 minutes.
Okay, we'll wait. If anybody has any questions.
Hello, madam. Savedi, ma'am.
Yes, Pujanka.
Shall we conclude the session?
Yeah, we'll conclude.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful session, ma'am. Thank you,
Thank you, Bhujankar. Thank you, everybody.
thank you, thank you.